more Space Engineers. Hal here, and we're going to be doing a ship. So, I've been wanting to use these cargo blocks for a while, and I'm thinking this is a good reason to do so. Alright, so now at the corners, these things actually have conveyor connections. And so what I'm thinking is that I want to have a ship that will get us into and out of areas and be able to basically take care of itself. I'm not going to make it a processor. We will just be doing mining and transport with it. So what I think we're going to end up with is a hinge on the corner and then a bunch of pistons. I don't even know how big this block is. Okay, so if we do the hinge there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's at least 4 pistons. So if we do 9 or 5 pistons, that'll bring it back here, and that'll allow us to have a little bit of fun with it. Alright, so let me get our bar set up. Not a hug. We want to we want to hinge. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a hug, but right, so let's go ahead. I want you to go that way. No, I don't want it to swing out. I want it to swing down. So maybe. Oh, how am I going to do this? What I needed to do then. Okay, I know what we need to do. Throw a conveyor on here. And so we'll have the conveyor be there. Do the hinge there. And then I need the conveyor blocks, or actually we're going to do pistons. So hopefully the pistons aren't going to latch onto the side of the container. That's my big fear. So maybe what we'll do is to keep that from happening. Well, let's try. Let's grab that. I'm actually going to need to get a battery on this thing first so that the hinge doesn't collapse under the weight, otherwise it'll drop down. Alright, so if we're going to do that, let's go ahead and drop that off there for now. We'll grab some batteries, and how wide is this? 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm thinking, let's go battery. I'll have one of these set out on both sides. So I kind of like the idea that we might be getting into the ship from there. Actually, no, we're going to do a side. We're going to have a side entrance, which means we can have all of these. So it's going to be potentially a wall. Alright, so we're going to have a couple of batteries. I want a small command area on this place, on this thing. And I'm thinking if we do those, because this is Space Engineers, we can technically get away with a little bit of asymmetric lift on it. Alright, so I don't know. Let's see what is the cargo capacity of that? Its volume is 2953 versus, remember that number, 2953 versus 4. So what was that? That's like 6 times. So I would need, what, 4 large thrusters, 6 large thrusters, so roughly 7 large thrusters if this thing was completely full to lift it off the ground. We might be able to do this. This is really more for if you're building a base. Oh, let's go. Atmospheric thruster. How big are we going to be able to get you guys? I don't want to go too far to the side. And how? So if I go 1, 2, and we'll probably do the same here, where we go so that gives us 4, and I may do a slightly asymmetric design where we end up with you being number 5 and 6, and then that leaves us an area that we can pipe into right here. Probably would be better to have it coming off of that side, but that's okay. And I mean, in absolute worst case, I can actually add more thrusters on that side. So if we're doing that, do I want it? Do I want to pilot this way, or do I want to pilot this way? Because it's an even number on this side, it's an odd number on this side. If I pilot with it, this being forward, that would allow us to see a whole lot of stuff. Because then we could actually put something like, we might actually be able to build a habitation area in here, but I don't think I need anything like that. I don't think I need a med bay. I think we can get away with just a survival kit. Let me see. Are you actually... I don't know if you're airtight. Are you airtight? Airtight on 150 out of 222, which means it's probably the smaller area on the large flat face, top and bottom. And then the small flat face on the length. Basically anything that isn't sloped is what I'm guessing. Alright, so if we can go with the assumption that the giant flat faces are airtight, then that means we can place things directly on the face. We have connectors in the middle and on the edges. Okay. which means that we're going to take these out again. And what I'm going to do is we're going to say 2, 3. So one there, one there. This is just marking where we have connectors so that we can actually, or conveyor ports, I should say, so that we can figure out if we need to pipe things around, where do we need to go. And there. Alright, so if we go from there, that means, yeah, get rid of that. That means we can bring the batteries back. I'm thinking end up with boarding in between these. I'm just going to let the defenses deal with it. So if I bring these in, you guys are actually airtight, right? You're airtight sealed, which means you are airtight on all sides. I think we'll do that. Flip you. Like so. And then we can do one battery, so you're in the middle. You're in the middle. Alright. That gives us 6 batteries. I might put another one in. I mean, it's very possible. You know what I could do? Let's just make basically a power room. So we end up with, let's see, say something like this, maybe. And since we have that connector there, we have one here as well. I can run, actually I'll run it from here into here. We can put slap a window on the front, and then that'll allow us to have our kit like right here. Actually, if we do armored all the way around, we can do a kit right there facing in, and then the rest of it's just figuring out where everything needs to go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead, we'll do a quick cut. For those who are interested in watching the full build, we'll have that as a follow-up video for this. And again, I don't know if it'll be later today or tomorrow. But you'll be able to see the entire build. But for those who are impatient and want to get to it, when we come back after the cut, we should have a mostly completed ship. We'll give this a try. Alright, so let's give it a go. And we're back. Alright, well that was a long period of time. I think the turrets are getting the zombies for us. I don't know if this one... Alright, come here, you. We need to go mining soon. I need more magnesium. Well, I need magnesium. I haven't picked any up. Need to pick up some food though. And I need to pick up some hydrogen. Alright. And I don't know if that's snow or ice. Or rain, rather. I think it's supposed to be rain. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go up here. We're gonna make it. I can get to it. Yay! Okay. So I'm gonna drop that off for a second. We are gonna drop all of this stuff off because we don't need it with us. And actually, we'll do it this way. Not that it matters, but yeah, go down here. So this is the new ship. Oh, so I need to finish welding up the drill, and we did actually put a rotor on it. But yeah, we're gonna have 2 more drills, one on either side of that one. And I wanted to make sure that it was going to clear the engine. So I had 1 extra piston on there that I ended up having to take off, mainly because of the fact that with the drill at the end of it, I guess it was just a little too much mass. And so I couldn't control the hinge. Took the piston off, put everything else back up, and it's working. So actually, what are you missing? Probably steel plates. Yep, steel plates. Alright. Let's crank some of those out while we're waiting. And I'll give you a tour of the new ship. So... oh, that's why. Sheesh. Start making the plates. Alright, so we ended up with, you know, we've got the ore detector, we've got a connector, got our landing gear in, and everything's piped in and piped through. Now I did notice, and I'll talk about this in a second, there is one issue that I may need to address in the ship design. This thruster and that thruster basically hang down into the collision box, the mounting collision box of the large thruster. So it is, I don't know if it's going to be an issue or not. We'll find out when we test it, because I haven't taken the ship up yet at all. So I figured we'd do all of that on camera. Of course, you know, we would start getting lightning at this point. Doesn't that figure? Anyway, so yeah, we'll have to take a look and see if that's going to be a problem. What I'll do is when we turn on the thrusters, I'll turn the bobs off when we get up there. Well, before we turn the thrusters and everything on, I'll turn the bobs off. We'll go up to an engine test fire and see if it burns the thruster at all, and if it does, we know that we need to replace it. Oh, which is going to be really bloody annoying if I have to do that, because I'm going to have to either move that thruster up, well, actually the thruster on both sides up, or relocate that lateral thruster, which, I mean, we have room upstairs, and I'll show you all that. Alright, so let's come back this way. If you notice, we have a ladder. See if I can time that right. There we go. And we can look up and down. We actually have a little gated area when we come in. So you have your platform. Now these blocks all the way down to that gear will come out, and that cross brace will remain. But then we can walk ourselves up the ramp here. As you can see some of the interior stuff. You can get up here to work on engines. That way, if you do run out of hydrogen, you can still get into the ship. You can still get around to fix things and get stuff going. Now, we did also put a couple of oxygen generators in. Turn the headlamp off. We don't have silver, so we can't get the survival kit up and running because we can't make the medical components. But the ship does pressurize. So we could, at a later date, either rip the atmospheric off and put ion on, so we could actually reuse this as a deep space vehicle design, Or the more likely is we could try and retrofit hydrogen on it, but I don't think that's going to happen. But there are planets available, not necessarily in vanilla, but some of the modded planets have an atmosphere thick enough to use atmospheric thrusters in, but they have a non-breathable atmosphere, such as the alien planet. So we could actually use this there as well. And because it has the O2 systems, we also put a couple of hydrogen engines in so that we have a supplementary power system. And we have a bunch of batteries. And you got like the little closet area over here. And when you look at the ship, we actually have all sorts of stuff. Okay, so now comes the fun part. We're going to turn thrusters on. And I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so if it was going to take damage... Alright, so I don't know if the Bob's fixed it. Alright, so let's turn the Bobs off. And we'll see. Now this ship does not actually have the Nanobot Build and Repair system on it. I'm still deciding on whether or not I'm going to throw one on here. It would make sense in some regards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so it is slowly eating the plates. Okay, so that means we need to get this thing down. Thrusters are running, yeah? Okay. The thrusters are running. We're going to check and see. Actually, let's do it. Let's do it from a slightly safer perspective. Looks like it's floating. It's doing the Space Engineer's drift, but you know, it should be okay. Alright, so let's go in. Alright, so I actually need you guys. We're going to switch this over. Let you just switch lock. Alright, and we'll let this come down. Now there is a very real chance that I'm not going to be able to use the drill the way I want to use it. But for now, I thought it was kind of interesting. Hey, look at that. And we'll have you switch lock. There we go. And turn those off, and we can set our batteries to charge. Alright, so now that we are safely on the ground, we know that this thing can fly. Yeah. It's going to be one of those days. Alright, so what I have to do is reposition those thrusters, and that is not going to be fun. I'll probably just build a really cheeky little forklift off of the platform using a couple of pistons. Latch onto it, move it up, and re-weld it. Trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. An easy way would be to have a piston extend over another piston, put a conveyor connector in, put a second piston on it with another convector on there, or a conveyor junction on there, and then a landing gear, and then move it around like that. That'll probably end up being the easy way to do it. Alright, so I am going to get working on that. I'll spare you all the trial and error on it, but you know what? I think I'm just going to grind them down and have Bob put them back. It'll just be easier and faster that way. It's also safer. I don't need to worry about destroying the ship or the base. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank you all for stopping, and hopefully you enjoyed it. There will be a companion video to this one showing the actual build, which, you know, I went through and did some of the little bit of block stuff you might enjoy. If you enjoy the build aspects, be sure to check that out. Let me know in the comment section if you want to have them back in one video, but like I said, it gives you a chance to get progress and gives people the chance to see the build if they're interested. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Well, thank you all for stopping in, and we will see you back here next time for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Really, I have to paint that pink and then replace it.